Welcome to the Burgundy Gold Knuckleheads podcast. As always, sitting right over there is my main man, Reggie. What's going on, Reggie?
What's up, Kenny? Looks a little
Man,
different, man.
I'm in a secret bunker, you know, traveling for work at a top secret location. Can't
I see
disclose
that,
where I'm
man.
at.
That's
Yeah,
right, man.
yeah,
We won't tell the people where you're at, man. We want to keep it top secret, man. But what a day! What a
yeah,
day!
yeah. You know, it's like about the time you're about to give up, about the time you're about to fall asleep. Yeah, about the time you're frustrated, man. Taylor and the commander said, "Hold on now, hold on, yeah, hold on. Get your popcorn out. Get your popcorn out, right?
Oh my
Uh,
god!
get your popcorn."
Oh man, got a bag of popcorn. Okay, I
Yeah,
see you.
for those that are listening to this, I had to break out some popcorn. If you're watching it on YouTube, you see the popcorn. I had to break out some.
That's a
So
big bag of popcorn you got there, man.
that is, man.
But
I just happened to have it as I was getting
I
ready
was
to
gonna say
pour
that's
it.
probably not a prop, right? That's not a prop. That's
That was not
real.
planned. That's real popcorn I happen to have here. But
Man, listen. Let me just first say this. I'm gonna warn you, and I'm gonna warn the listeners. This is not the podcast for me to be hearing a win's a win. I'm probably gonna be pretty negative on this podcast. I'm just gonna tell you that right now, just from the jump.
yeah,
I'm gonna speak some facts,
yeah.
but overall, my tone is gonna be negative on this podcast. But hey, I understand a lot of people be like, you take the win when you can
Yeah.
get it. A win's a win, but I'm not trying to hear that today.
Well, it was even on the last drive, as it was so frustrating because we didn't even do that easy.
Nope.
Yes, we I mean, you drive and you get the touchdown, but you're third and one. The offensive line actually busts open a big hole for McKissick to pick up a first down,
And he
and he
falls.
slips and falls. I'm
Right.
like, oh my god, we just can't do anything right. Before we get going here, as far as
Yeah.
talking some details, let me go over some numbers, and
Okay.
and, and as I'm going over these numbers, if you didn't watch the game and you're only hearing these numbers, you think offensively we had a pretty good day.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it,
Um,
Ken.
Taylor went 23 for 31. That's a 74% completion rate, right? That includes he had at least two balls batted down and two balls he just threw away, right?
Okay.
So 279 yards, one TD, one ugly interception. We can come back around to that. Um, Curtis Samuel, he had four carries for 29 yards, three receptions for 50 yards, right? That's almost 80 yards that he had mixing and matching offensively with the rush and the pass. Terry had six receptions for 113 yards. Antonio Gibson had seven carries for 19 yards, seven carries for 58 yards. So
Okay.
he was in the 80 yard range himself. So two people basically with 80 yards of offense, one person with 113 yards, and you throw in Robinson had a little bit, a couple of the other receivers had a little bit here and there, but it seems like we were productive just based off of the numbers. You look
Okay.
at that and you go, we were productive. But for those that didn't watch the game, I was a little surprised seeing these numbers because we couldn't string all these offensive numbers. We couldn't string them together at all throughout the game, except for one drive in the first half and one drive in the second half. Besides that, we tripped all over ourselves. We'd have pick up a first down, pick up a second first down, and then just look like we didn't know what we were doing. Get the ball back, pick up a first down, pick up a first down, and stumble and fall, and what in the hell are we doing? That was it. It wasn't like we were 3 and out all the time, right? It was start moving the ball and fall on your face.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
Get to midfield and fall on your face.
Yep.
And those are the offensive numbers there. So,
Let me just say this. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want to get off topic. I was going to kind of somewhat.
No, I was just going to simply say, man, watching this game, I got to the point that I was telling some of the people that was sitting around me that I didn't even care to do this podcast because I was ready to explode. I was ready to blow up. I just was sitting here watching. I just don't understand what we do as a team. I don't understand what we do as an organization. And I don't understand what the coaches do during their meetings as they prep for these teams. I just don't understand. I understand that Ron is very traditional. Ron wants to establish the run and open up the passing game. I get it. But at some point, Brian Robinson wasn't getting it done. So you know what? You were coming in with the heavy hitter, the thunder of Brian Robinson, and he just wasn't getting it done. If I want to say here, looking at his numbers, he was 8 carries for 20 yards. Right? That's a terrible average. So what was not happening was they were not able to stop Antonio Gibson, and they were not able to stop Curtis Samuel on the outside. So you know what you do? You throw an audible,
both, right? Yeah.
Right. You throw an audible, Scott Turner, and what you do is instead of going with Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, now maybe you go the double back set. You go with Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick. Give them something different.
Yeah.
Be creative. I mean, we were sitting there at the bar watching the game, and everyone says anytime you see Curtis Samuel go in motion, guess what they're going to do? They're going to hand it to him. It is so freaking obvious when you watch this team. We go for it on 4th and 1. I made the comment. I'm like, a high school coach, I expected to make this play call. You load up the line and you just turn around and hand it to your running back and he runs straight up the middle. There was no creativity on a 4th down that you turn around and give it to Brian Robinson on a 4th and 1. You could have faked it. You could have rolled out. You could have had Taylor Heineke run for the first. You could have had a 2-back set. You could have faked it to the up back and handed it to the guy. You could have get a pass to the I'm drawing a blank here where you do a toss sweep to the second guy in the back and run it outside and get it. I mean, there's no creativity by Scott Turner, and I just don't get it. The guy needs to go, man. I'm sorry. I understand that the win is going to cover up a lot of the stink in what we saw today. I think in the second half, they were, I'm not even sure until they finally started to make some moves, they didn't get cross midfield at some point. It was just an ugly, productive day for this offense. They scored that 7 points. I mean, hell, Indianapolis tried to give us the game, right? They gave us, with the exception of the big plays, they couldn't move the ball. And then when they did move the ball in our territory, they turned it over at least twice within the red zone. Yeah, right? We get a defense gets a fumble on Taylor. And what do? 3-4 plays, and we're punting the ball. Right. And you could tell the defense got tired. And I'm just sitting here like, I just don't understand it. And I would give credit to Drew. And Drew, for those who are listening, Drew's one of our guys that sits at the table with us. Drew made a comment, and I looked at him probably like he had 3 eyes in his face. But he said, I'd like to see Indianapolis score and see if the offensive coordinator calls a different game. And guess what happens? We go down 7-9. Next thing you know, Scott Turner starts throwing the ball around, and we start making plays.
Right.
He abandoned the run. I don't want to say he abandoned the run, but he certainly went away from the run. Right. And he starts throwing that ball around to Taylor. To Terry. I think Amani Rogers got a pass. Curtis Samuel got a pass. Antonio Gibson. It was like a pass for everybody. And the offense started marching down the field in the second half when we get behind. But as long as we had the lead, it was just hand the ball off. hand the
Well,
ball off. Let's hand the ball off.
well,
And
and
it's like we have
yeah,
weapons on this team, Ken. I just don't get it, man. We have weapons on this team, and there's so many ways that you can get the ball in people's hands, and there's plenty of people to get the ball in their hands too.
yeah.
I'm just so frustrated watching this game, man.
No, and I don't disagree. I mean, prior to the game, I gave you a call, and I specifically talked about Curtis Samuel, right? I talked about what they did with him, using him on the run and the pass is exactly what I wanted to see. But I also commented on why aren't they doing that as a diversion, which they didn't do. You said when he starts going in motion and comes across, it's probably going to go to him. We'll do it
Yeah.
a couple times without it because you're going to hold linebackers or you're going to
Right.
hold the defensive ends. And what again, once you can hold somebody, that gives receivers an extra step and a half down the field. That gives the
The
offensive line
linebackers can't jump into position because they're worried
right
about the guy. Yeah, absolutely.
the offensive line gets their hands on the guy rather than them attacking the offensive lineman. It works the way all the way around. And then, I mean, at the beginning, the first drive, again, we got roughly to midfield, but all the things you're talking about that we did at the end of the game, we did the first drive or two. How our offense was running is that's when Gibson was getting a couple flare passes out there, and Samuels got involved, and all of a sudden, like you said, second quarter, third quarter, basically, it was just determined to run, and their strength of running is between I'm sorry, their defensive strength was between the tackles.
Defending the run between the tackles.
Correct.
Is your
And,
point.
and,
Okay.
and that's where we did not have success, but we kept on going and going. And I know you have to go some, right? But on fourth down, to your point, on fourth down, you had so many options, to fake it there and roll. I mean, like I said, I can go down a list of 3 or 4 different plays. Another thing that we haven't seen is I would still like to see Taylor 3 or 4 times a game roll the pocket out, right? There wasn't a great rush, but roll the pocket out to make the linebackers and the safeties and everybody move to cover everything. If there's nothing open and Taylor can run
Do
and
bootleg,
pick up
man. Do
5 yards,
bootleg.
a bootleg option, right? Give him the option to pass. We don't have to do that only down at the goal line when everything's compressed, right? The coverage and everything is compressed. We can do that at midfield.
I'm convinced this game solidified my thinking, and I'm convinced that the coaching staff, specifically on the offensive side, so I'm going to go Scott Turner, offensive coordinator, Ron Rivera, head coach, because Ron could also come in here and tell him what the game plan should be, and he should be able to go out and get that done. But those two individuals are holding back this team. I have zero doubt. I have zero doubt. Today just solidified it. Scott Turner, you can see the way he called the game was very conservative when we had the lead, and when we got behind, you could see how different when Taylor got back and started throwing the ball. And let me be clear. I do not want Taylor Heineke sitting back throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. But he has the ability to drop back in the pocket and throw the ball to our receivers. And when we got behind in that game, 7-9, all of a sudden the play calling looked completely different. And we're all standing around the bar saying, where was this in the first half? Right. Where was this play calling?
Yeah, no,
I understand people are going to be, well, win's a win. You got to take it when you can't. Man, I'm not trying to hear that, because I'm convinced right now this team is being held back by the coaching staff. I understand there's some limitations to some of the players. I get it. But you know what? Those same players was in the game the second half. Your guy, Andrew Norwell, we tweeted, we talked. We talked about it. That guy.
Don't put that guy on me. Don't put that on me. He said my guy, right?
That guy, your guy, Ken, that guy, Andrew Norwell, man, that dude needs to get off the field and he should never see the field again.
Yeah,
That guy, I mean,
you notice
everybody
the
knows.
disturbing part. You notice the disturbing part is there's nobody on our team that can beat him to take the starting role. That is also concerning. That's on Ron now.
It is very
Um,
concerning. It is very concerning.
it's concerning because I mean, can he stand there and just be a body in the way? Absolutely, does a good job at that. But if he has to move left or move right or do anything athletically that his size alone can't,
Look, man, look, man,
it,
that
it,
play,
the only thing that he stops people with is his size alone, right?
can't listen. That play, that draw play, or that screen play that was thrown out there to Antonio Gibson and
Yep,
Andrew Norwell was supposed to block the guy, and the guy just ran around him.
yep,
I could have gotten in that guy's way.
yes,
I could have gotten in that guy's way.
and the announcers, I mean, they showed it once or twice, but they basically didn't even talk about how, what's the sense of even rolling Norwell out there if he's not going to do nothing? Hell, roll a tight end out there, roll a second running back out there, roll somebody who can put their hands on somebody to the left or right. Is he just waiting for somebody to run into him?
Man, you get that guy going one direction, he can't stop and go back the other way. It's done, man. I struggle to understand how offensive line coach, the coaching staff can look at the tape week in and week out and see what this guy is not doing. Because I'm not gonna say what he's doing, is what he's not doing, and continue to roll him out there week in and week out. It just baffles me.
Yeah. I gave out some of the numbers that everybody that we did offensively as individuals, but again, like I said, things didn't progress throughout the game. Couldn't get into a rhythm and maintain something for the length of the field. It seemed like I said, once we got to about the 50-yard line, we kept on stalling because they were pinning us back consistently at the 10 or 15-yard line. We would get it all the way back up to about the 50 and just start over. Just rewind, do it again. Rewind, do it again. One of the things I will say that I know you didn't really see it during the game until if I would have been there, I noticed it later in the game. Offense didn't have a single penalty today. Zero. No holding, no false starts, none of the above. We had only had three penalties total for Washington. It was the tackle where he accidentally caught the face mask and 2 pass interference. That was it.
Wild Goose showed up again in the wrong way, right?
He's young and still learning. He can't use his hands like he needs to. He's got speed, he's got aggressiveness, but
man, he grabbed that dude. He just straight out grabbed that dude.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
No doubt. And again, he was drafted where he was drafted for a reason. He's a rookie, and he's getting better. We see moments where his aggressiveness really pays off, but you got to try to keep those mistakes down.
You put that brother on the island. Wild Goose get the wilding because he that dude with man. Every time you get him out there on the island, man, oh my god, bro, he's
covering him, but he gets handsy. Right? He gets handsy.
He's just running for his life. He wasn't covering nobody. Wild Goose was getting goosed out there because I'm telling you, that's boy. Anyway, here's the other thing I'm frustrated with. How in the hell did Terry McLaurin can go the entire half for another week where he gets one catch?
No.
Why? Is it because we want to say that everybody's going to team up on Terry? You know what? They do it to all top receivers. Throw the man the damn ball.
Again, this is one of the games we talked about earlier in the year also. I need to see film and tape. Right, earlier in the year, all of a sudden, people that whether it was some of the press would get the full view, and they would show somebody getting run over, somebody running wide open, or whatever it is. I'm anxious to see if Terry was open this week, or how the play calling was for anything. I mean, if I
I don't
can't
need to see no
imagine
tape. I don't need to see no tape, Ken.
but this might be on Taylor, right? Because I can't imagine that Terry wasn't the go-to guy, the initial the initial read for Heineke to look at, and then Heineke goes to second or goes to third for an entire half.
Let me say it this way.
I don't know, but
understand. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel, and in fact, I know what you're saying, but let me just put it in the big picture. This was game 8. This is week 8. Things have changed. Quarterback has changed. Offensive line has changed. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
One thing that's not changed is this team's ability to get Terry McLaurin involved in the offense in the first half. Maybe one week it was the quarterback not getting in the ball. Another week, maybe he just wasn't able to get open due to the coverage. But we're talking 8 weeks. We're not talking about a couple of weeks where he was shut out in the first half due to catches. We're talking just about 8 weeks where Terry McLaurin has not been involved in the offense in the first half. And then all of a sudden, second half rolls around. Terry makes 2 or 3 big catches. He gets fired up, as we see. And once again, he comes through for this team and helps this team get a W.
Right.
So I understand. I don't need to see the all 22. I have no doubt, and I'm willing to give you, in some cases, it could be play calling, quarterback, didn't get him the ball, whatever the case. But 8 weeks, your number one receiver is essentially being shut out by his own team in the first half has happened way more than it needs to be.
But at the same time,
it is insane. I don't. Go ahead.
But I got to interrupt a little bit. I'm playing devil's advocate. Okay, I'm not saying this is accurate, but is Terry getting open? Does he have a guy just sitting on his hip?
Yes.
I don't doubt that he is, but is he getting open at the point when Taylor is looking? Because I think Taylor's clock is running a little bit faster than some quarterbacks. Some quarterbacks know to just give him another half a second.
Throwing the ball. Just throwing the ball. Just throwing the ball. Because guess what? Last week, Taylor threw the ball with his eyes closed. Right? You saw the picture online.
That was a blink. That was a blink.
Blink my ass. Throwing the ball.
Hey,
just throwing the ball.
I can go out there and take pictures of quarterbacks doing all that. It was just like what was it, week 2? They showed a picture of
the 2 linemen running into each other.
Linemen, I got it. The exact same game. Game. They had the 2 Cowboy players doing the exact same thing.
Okay. I'm with you, but guess what?
But nobody focuses on the one. They only focus on the bad when it comes to Washington.
But guess what? That play last week, that third down converting to seal the game, Terry hadn't even broke out of his route yet. Taylor threw the ball because he knew that's what Terry's going to be.
Well, yeah, that's NFL football right there.
Okay, so when you make the comment that I don't know if Terry's open, he'll about to be open. Just throw it to him. He about to be open. just throw it.
I don't disagree.
Just throw 17 the ball. And listen, I'm not telling you to give him 10, 12 touches in the first half. I'm not being that ridiculous. I'm being a little bit ridiculous from the standpoint of just throw the man the damn ball.
Right.
Just throw it towards him. He will make a play. And if you don't believe he'll make a play, that should be evident today. It's taken us 20 minutes to get to bring it up, but it took him. But the evidence should be the last play of the game, or the game-winning play. Should have been the game-winning catch. But it's certainly got to be one of the catches of the year in the way that Terry McLaurin threw and by the way, number one is an unscripted play, right?
Correct.
Terry was there. It was unscripted. He just threw his hands up and told Taylor to throw it. Taylor throws it, but he underthrows it.
Underthrows it. Yes, he does.
Right.
Because if he had thrown it within 3 or 4 steps of Terry breaking on the money, it'd have been straight touchdown. Nothing the defender could have done. Yeah.
So we have an unscripted play that Taylor underthrows the ball. So once again, Terry's got to come back to the ball. He comes back
Well, he
and
stops for it, but didn't come back.
makes a grown man catch, right?
Takes
And
it away.
I mean, he just basically give me that. And for me, it was for that guy, Terry, to make that catch at that moment in the game, at that stadium in front of those people, his family, friends, where he's played high school and college ball, was a player. As far as the Washington team, I got to believe that might be the player of the year. When they have their year-end thing that they do with the players and the organization, that has got to be up there, man, because that was I'm not going to let this team lose.
Hey,
because that ball was very much Gilmore's ball as it was Terry's.
Yeah, that's exactly why you paid Terry, right? That's why you pay that type of receiver the kind of money that he got. He earned a portion of his paycheck off of that catch. Right?
It was that was unbelievable. The bar went crazy.
It did where we were too, and where I was, it was only maybe a third of the way full. It wasn't very crowded. And let me back up real quick while we're talking about being at a bar. I want to throw out real quick. I put on Twitter asking, because I'm in the Northern Virginia area at a top secret, undisclosed location, that about bars being around, and a different Ken suggested a location, and I appreciated that. And also, a guy we follow on Twitter, Deers and Beers, actually invited me to his house. So I want to give him a shout out, tell him thank you. It was a little bit far for me to go to the area where he was at, but I greatly appreciated it. The Knuckleheads, we definitely appreciate the love. But
yeah, Deers and Beers, our guy, right? That's our guy, man. He's always interacting with us, tweeting our stuff.
He's definitely one of the guys that interacts with us the most.
Yeah, big shout out to him, man.
But yeah, I had some people standing in front of me. There was a guy over on the side coming into the bar, and he was about to jump over some tables. He was losing his mind as well as the rest of us. I mean, and it went from cussing, right? 3 minutes earlier, 2 minutes earlier, even on that drive, you're cussing and just shaking your head, and all of a sudden it's like, holy cow, we're gonna win this game, like that. There was never any doubt. There was never.
I was cussing, all right. I was cussing. In fact, I lost a little bit of my voice, as you can tell.
I can hear it.
It's a little in and out, but man, brother, oh my God, dude.
I was in an unfamiliar territory, so I had to keep all my. I couldn't help but cheer loud at the end, but a lot of my comments I had to keep low key, and
it got a little wild at the bar toward the end when Terry made that catch, man. But prior to that, people screaming about Ron not calling timeout. During the last clock management, the last drive,
I didn't have a problem with that. We had a little bit of a discussion. The table that was close to me, I didn't have a problem with the clock management, although. Ron has messed things up before with clock management and challenge flags and all that, but I didn't have a problem with it. The team was doing what they did. They had the timeouts. We got lucky with the injury that basically gave us a free timeout at a key point of that last drive.
Man, listen.
This
win felt about as yucky as the Chicago game to me.
It wasn't that bad. Chicago was worse. As bad as this was.
But let me clarify the difference. The only difference is it was a little more exciting this game, and the way it ended, we put up a few more points. But Indy gave us a game. I mean, hell, they fumbled the ball a couple times in the red zone when they could have scored, whether that's a field goal or a touchdown, and we went the other way just to move the ball enough to flip the field. But we didn't do anything with those turnovers. But the difference between those games, points. We had an exciting play at the end of the game. When Terry basically snatched the W from the Colts to Washington. But to me, the games were ugly. The
Yeah.
games were
Yeah.
off. The games were ugly, man. It was ugly, awful performance by the offense.
Well, this game came
I'm
down
sorry.
to,
I'm sorry.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sorry, brother.
but what I always say between teams, I mean, you take Indy and Washington as an example. When it came down to it, what do I always say is a difference between a lot of average teams is just a couple people that we call difference makers, right? Our difference maker, who we know is Terry, at the end of the game, our difference maker made a difference, and that's why we won. And Scott Turner needs to recognize that. We both agree that used properly, Curtis Samuel is a difference maker.
He is.
Antonio,
He is.
at different points today, Antonio Gibson was a difference maker.
He is.
DJ, JD the DJ McKissick used to be a difference maker, but we're not hardly using him that much. There's a tool there that we're not using much, and I
Today he
think
should
there's
have been
room
used
for him.
more. He
I
should have been used
totally
more
agree.
today.
This would have been where we should have used him more in the second half. Definitely the fourth quarter, and less of Brian Robinson. Um, I, we're basically
Bro.
halfway through we're basically halfway through the season. This is the team that we are, right? What you saw today, whether you win or lose against average teams, poor teams, or good teams, this is the team that we are. We are not going to. I think now that our defense is playing consistently better, I don't think we're going to get blown out of games if we lose, but we're not going to pull away. We're going to let the game, every game is going to come down to the last 5 minutes the rest of the season. It just is. It just
That's
is.
fine. Okay. I'm not so sure. In fact, I'm legitimately concerned how the chemistry on the defensive side is going to change for the good or the better. With Chase Young coming back, I do think there's a little bit of chemistry on this defensive front. I'm concerned about how that's gonna be impacted. And from an offensive standpoint, everybody blamed a lot of it on Carson Wentz. Okay, that's cool. Taylor Heinicke's come in and got your 2 wins. Okay. You can make the argument that it could have been 2 losses, but he gave us 2 wins. So we're 2-0 with Taylor Heinicke. But I'm here to tell you that kind of performance by the offense is not going to get it done against many teams in this league, brother. And Kirk Cousins is going to come into DC next week. You know that team is going to come fired up to play for him. Man, they got Dalvin Cook. They got
a solid team.
Justin Jefferson. And them guys are going to come in there, and Kirk's going to come in and listen. That performance today, not gonna get it done against a team like Minnesota, man.
No, it won't. There's no doubt about that.
So to me, you're talking about this is the team we are. Once again, brother, here we go. We got a mediocre squad, and that's not fun. It's not fun to say.
Well, I think the difference is. I've been saying it for a long time. I think two things are holding Washington back at this moment. Right?
Coaching.
If I go
coaching.
If I go wave a magic wand, number one is coaching.
Yep.
And number two is we don't have a quality, legitimate starting quarterback.
I 100% agree.
Franchise quarterback.
100% agree, Ken.
And I got zero problems with Taylor being our backup quarterback. And if he comes in for a week or two,
feel good about it.
Don't want to. That's fine. That's fine. But
I
don't want Wentz. I don't want Taylor. I don't want Sam Howell. We don't know, but I'm telling you right now, I don't want Sam Howell. I don't want any 3 of them starting for my team next year if I can wave a magic wand. I want a legitimate quarterback.
I understand.
And
to your point,
I'm not trying to knock any of them. I'm just saying they are a bottom 15. If you want to take the top 15 and bottom 15, they are the bottom 15, all 3 of them, as far as NFL quarterbacks. He's 14, he's 15, whatever, man. You need somebody that is a top 12 quarterback to be successful in this league. And when you find him, the team will change because the talent alone will make up for not being the greatest play caller in our offensive coach, right? You get the right talent, and it makes up for a lot of things. I'm not trying to make any excuses for Turner, because
I got none.
if you want to keep Ron next year, go ahead and keep Ron. Get me a legitimate, proven offensive coordinator, and we'll see how things go. I don't care what quarterback it is. So
yeah. So I told you, we won't beat this dead horse here. I know a lot of people are probably celebrating because all the perfume that got poured on with that big great catch that would be on the highlight reels all over social media, probably on the NFL Network, ESPN, and you look at the final score we won. I think a lot of people are going to forget about what happened from the beginning of the game up until that point, and just say that shows us that we're back at 4-4. That was ugly. It was awful looking performance by a team that was playing a Colts team that is clearly has pretty much trying to tank the season. They had a rookie quarterback, and he was looking a hell of a lot better playing than Taylor Heineke was playing. Jonathan Taylor's hurt.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Oh shit, he was listen, he was hitting his receivers.
He was dinking and dunking most of the time. Now I've got the numbers on him, and he was dinking and dunking. Trust me, he didn't. If they would have won the game, if the Colts would have won the game, he didn't win the game for them. That was extremely. Sam Ehlinger. He didn't do anything to win the game.
He didn't lose it for him. So if the Colts won the game, who would you give the game ball to?
Their defense and a few big plays.
Who made the big play? Sam Ehlinger throwing the ball.
Come on, man.
Come on, kid. Oh,
so hold on. So why are you giving it to Terry? Give it to Heineke, right? Heineke scrambled around, gave all that time for Terry to get open. Right? I can turn it the same way.
No, wait a minute.
Sam Ehlinger didn't do anything special in that game at all. At all.
I didn't say he did anything special, Ken. I just said that this kid was a rookie and he was playing a hell of a lot better than Taylor was doing. That's all I said. And you said that they had a few big plays that they had, with the exception of I think a run or two. They came out of the passing game, and Sam Ehlinger was the guy who was passing the ball. He made whatever this kid named Pierce. I made the comment during the thing. I said this kid is going to be the number one pickup on the waiver wire in fantasy football, because people are going to look at the numbers and go, man, who the hell is this guy? Man, I need to go pick him up. We made this guy stud this week.
He only threw for 200 yards. he didn't throw for 300 yards.
How many did Taylor throw for?
Basically 280.
280, and take away probably 80 of them shit from that last play.
You can't take away nothing. Take away a couple of his big passes.
But my point being here,
one, take away from the other.
No, but my point being here is that guy's a rookie, and Taylor is a veteran player in this league. He started all last year. His numbers shouldn't be comparable to the rookie guy. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna tell you, he should have outplayed this kid. He should have outplayed this kid.
Taylor had 50% more yards than he did, almost.
Okay.
I said almost. What's 50% of 200?
50%
of 200 is an extra 100.
You're right. I'm gonna sit with Tito.
I said almost, so he put in another 80 yards. Anyway, it doesn't matter now.
Wins win, right?
That's the only way you can take it.
Man.
Right? But you know what I'm afraid of, and I mentioned it as I was walking out to the guys that were sitting by me at the bar. We're going to play well enough to miss the playoffs, be mediocre, and be picking it around 16, 17 when we need a quarterback, and we would rather be, 5, 6, 7. Now, I'm not saying for us to tank, but it's a repetitive cycle that, and this is a lot of sports, right? To consistently be mediocre is a death sentence.
Yep.
You can't get the stud quarterback when you need him, the stud wide receiver, the stud whatever, and you're not making the playoffs with the studs that you have, and so you're kind of in limbo land over and over and over again. Yeah,
stuck in the middle means you're average, brother.
Yeah, which is where we sit right now. But
anyway, man, this podcast is going 30 minutes longer than I thought it would go, but because when
have we ever done a 10-minute podcast, man?
My point being is that's how I felt about this game, watching it. And I was like, I didn't even want to do a podcast. I said, if it was such thing as a 10-minute, I'd do 10 minutes. Come on, say my piece and be out of here. But the drive from the bar back got me to calm down a little bit, obviously, with the incredible play by Terry McLaurin, because Terry made, let me tell you, man, that was a hell of a play. So that got me settled down a little bit, and then I got here to the house and kind of got settled in. But I was ready to do a 10-minute podcast.
Man, he saved a lot of Commander fans from getting off that bus, right?
Yes, he did.
Well, I mean, to your point, we've had. I mean, on your screen there it says streak continues 3-0, right? We were a 3-game winning streak, but man, 2 out of 3 were really ugly.
Really ugly.
The Bears 3 weeks
ago. And that's why I said. That's why I said I don't want to hear this win is a win kind of crap, man. I'm over that, brother.
Yeah. But yeah, we got our work cut out for us against the Vikings next week, and you and I will do a breakdown of that game here in a couple of days. I will still be at my top secret
in the bunker,
undisclosed location, and
all right.
Yeah. So
that's all I got, man.
That's all I got.
As always. So,
man, if you're listening
to
this,
we got the win. We look good on paper at 4-4. Streak continues.
Yeah, if you're listening to us, reach out to us on Twitter. Let us know what you think of this game. Maybe we should put a poll out to see what people think of this game or who the game ball should go to. I mean, Terry's going to get the game ball, right? But besides Terry, who do you give credit to this win on?
Nobody.
Somebody else got to get it, right?
Nobody.
But I think that's an interesting question. Maybe we'll throw the poll out for that.
The defense.
Fair enough. Yeah, like I said, defense gave up a few big. I say big plays. They gave up some.
Nobody deserved no damn game ball.
That's
just take a shower, get on the bus, get on the bus,
right.
get on.
I'm going to control the poll. I'll control the poll on this, man. No, go ahead.
Take a shower.
Reggie, and go be in charge of it.
Take a shower. Don't even do no press. Don't do no press. Don't even do no post game press. Just get on the bus, get on the plane, and just get on back to DC, man.
Yeah, no coaches, no players except for Terry.
Yeah, and that's only because he's from Indy.
Yeah,
Terry's the only one that can speak.
Yeah, he can get a private jet on his own.
We only gonna let Terry speak because he's from Indy. And he made that hell of a catch. So other than that, everybody just take a shower, get on the bus, and get out of here.
Yeah, if you didn't notice here, we got is it Ramon Taylor listening in on us? Is it Ron's stubbornness is detrimental to us winning football games? Look what he did before the first half. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
He posted that a few minutes ago, but I didn't notice it. Thanks for listening, Ramon. And yeah. So
this is ridiculous, man. But at any rate, man, we appreciate you joining in. Appreciate your comments.
Absolutely.
Ken's gonna get my blood pressure going. I'm gonna get off this thing.
I'm just doing some devil's advocate stuff here, man.
I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear that, Ken.
You know, we're for the most part in sync with what our problems are right now. Now that Wentz is out of the scene.
Look, man, let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. Y'all let me get
Right
out of
on,
here.
man.
I'm good. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes.
Appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. We'll be back later this week with our preview for the Minnesota Vikings game. But until next time, y'all, peace out.
Peace out, knuckleheads. Let's make it 4 in a row.
Yes, sir.